Hi, this is Austin with assignment 6, part 1. So I'll start with the pyramid because the box was already had its UVs in the demo, so I don't really see any reason to show that back off. Okay, so I had to adjust the speed on the spotlight, but you can see that the light is coming off of every side of the pyramid. So there it is. Now I will do it with the sphere as well, which is fixed since part 3, by the way, since I know there was an issue with it at the time, and that issue is fixed now. So here it is. Once again, reflects off all sides, and the issue with the sphere was around here. You can see it's no longer. It's fully sealed now. So the actual code is really nothing complicated. That's just the box. But the pyramid, take the normal of each side by cross-producting two of the sides against each other, and then applying that to all three of that side. This is one where I used repeated vertices. And as for the sphere, I did not use repeated vertices for that one. I just took the vector that I was already using to create the points and used that as the normal, and it worked fine. So next I'm going to take a look at the skybox and the terrain model. I'll start with the skybox, which is the one I have set up now. And this one actually, of all the ones, this is somehow the one that I ended up struggling with, but I got it partly working. I guess it's just because the faces are pointing inwards. It gave me some trouble figuring out what UV to put on what corner. So, any minute now. Here we are. So, let's see. What side is it looking at? Okay, so, works about half of this one. Works fine on this side. Again, works about half on this one, and then just disappears. So, I must have messed up my UVs, or my normals rather, on these three sides, and the top and the bottom because it already wasn't working, I just left those. But regardless, I will go ahead and show off the UVs that I was using. This face is the one that is working, and these two work like half of the time, and then this one just doesn't work. So, there it is. But the terrain, actually, I did a lot better on. While I'm here, I'll look at the code for the normal generation real quick. Since there are a total of 6 faces you can do, I have a normal vector for each of those 6. I use that to make the cross products based on what side we're on. Like if we're too far to the left or right, we'll skip some of them. Keep track of how many faces we have, and then use that to calculate the normal. Alright, so I've toggled the terrain now. So I'll show it in action. Here we go. You can see it working just fine. This should be correct. Okay, so here we have the part 3. Actually, the reason I skipped part 3 is because I could not actually get part 2 working properly. But here's part 3. So rotating light, stationary light, both in the same scene, both using the same shader. So I'll take a look at the actual code for that. Originally I was going with a separate approach that would pass in the stuff in 3 separate registers, but that approach was not working. So now I just pass in 3 different light datas in the same parameter. A series of arrays here for each of the lights. So it's not like, it's not in the same struct in here, but it passes in the same struct. So more of the same attempt to do it in 3 separate registers, but no need to dwell on that. So these functions I modified to take an index as well, which it would use to determine where in the array to put this data. And then it would take all 3 and put them into the shader. So it also has 3 separate eye position inputs in case you want 3 different ones for the lights for whatever reason. I wanted that to be an option. More code from when I was trying to do it in separate registers. And then the actual shaders here. Here's the input. Again, that was where it was passing in when I was doing it with 3. And the code essentially just goes through each of the 3 sets and applies all of them to each pixel in the pixel shader. And other than that, it's more or less the same as the original color light shader. And here's the implementation in the actual DX app. Is I set the spotlight and set a new position, set a spotlight at that position, two eye positions, 2 separate ones, and then pass all of that data into the shader class, not the shader HLSO, and then it takes care of all of it from there. So I am using a separate eye position file here, just to show you that you could if you want to. It's just the same one, but rotated.